What's up, my good people? This is Charles. I am Brandon Madison of Nexxlegacy Radio, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. Not just on YouTube Live, but we're everywhere right now in terms of even radio stations. So I appreciate all the people that is listening and looking via the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications. Make sure y'all go ahead and tap in and what's real. But what's real is my guest. I've had the pleasure of being a recipient of just a bond that I feel like we've created over the last couple years. And this is our first interview, but it's been a long time in the making. And I just really and truly appreciate not just her musical contributions to Oaktown's 357, but I just appreciate just the transparency and the real fact of who she is and how she's not just uh taken on her legacy of all that you have seen and done with her albums and the dancing and everything else, but just I'm going to publicly say, and I'll say this throughout the interview, it's going to be an honor and a privilege to be working with her. So I have Miss Tabatha Brooks, aka Terrible T of Oaktown's 357, right here with me.
No.
Nexxlegacy. What's up, baby? What's up?
Oh, long time coming.
Long time, but you know what? This feels the right time in a lot of different ways, because when you look at music and business and life, like life was life and for me the last couple years, and I want to say publicly throughout all of it, Tab has been like super supportive in a lot of different ways, checking in, just being a supportive person opposite of not just business, but just tapping in and checking in, and just very very good with her communication and follow up. And even though I wasn't, she was at a high level, and knowing what I was knowing, just I just knew like this person is going to be like a real true person at the end of the day, to not just do work with, but also to honor and support. So Tab, I'm gonna always love you and appreciate you just for you being you. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, all the time. Low key harassing you. It's okay.
but you know what? But even deeper than that, I just think that the world needs to appreciate just your work with Hammer, with Oaktown's 357, beyond the albums, beyond the tours, beyond the moves and dance steps. Like, people got to look back, not just the 80s and 90s, but they also have to appreciate what was done and what was accomplished back then as well. So I really and truly, thank you for the work that you put in musically and dancing wise with you and the group, with LD, with P, everybody who literally like played a role into the progression and the evolution of Oaktown's 357 have to be celebrated. So off top, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Music
Thank
love.
you. Appreciate it.
So Tab,
nice to get those flowers.
and you know what? And we need to express that more than ever before, just because it's important for us to be able to share and just the history of how you got going. So I'm gonna have you just literally just look back at your career and ongoing career in retrospective. Like, how do you feel about the contributions you made, not just being a part of, like I said, Hammer, but even the group in general? Looking back, how do you reflect on it?
Amazing. When I look back at a lot of the things that we started out, very humble. I'm still humbled that our fans today still appreciate us, and now even their kids appreciate us, and it's just a beautiful thing to know that you were part of history. The 50th anniversary, we made history, and it's nice to be acknowledged. It's nice to know that you can still put on Juicy Got You Crazy and everybody still gets on the dance floor, and it's a beautiful thing.
I think even going with just as a dancer with Hammer, and I know I'm trying to avoid Tab to ask cliche questions because I feel like you've probably answered a lot of these questions throughout your career and things like that. But did you know, like during your moments with Hammer, that you literally was going to be all right? We're going to form this group called Oaktown 357, and we're going to have a couple of albums out.
At that time, no. I was just enjoying being able to show the world my dancing skills. So creating 357 was definitely Hammer, and I thank him for that because it did give me more longevity here in the business. But I was just enjoying being on stage, hearing the crowd performing, and when we had to make that transition, it was easy because he definitely showed us how to do it and gave us the formula.
Mhm.
So it was great.
When when you look back and you get these moments as far as just dancing and everything else that came with it, like to me I always feel like you put certain things up there with Oaktown 357 in terms of dance skills and a specific vibe. It wasn't just a Bay thing, Tab. I feel like it was globally, because to me I think y'all at that point in time in y'all career was just putting together a nice girl group. Everybody was like vibing off the energy that y'all had when y'all were on stage. Did you feel like you was getting that not just from the crowd, but people outside of the Bay? Like, what was the reactions that you were getting in general?
Um, Definitely, when we were touring and going to these cities, we definitely was, of course, the Bay is always going to show Bay love to the artists, but we definitely were feeling it all across the country. Even when we went over to Japan, it was the feeling that they knew the songs. They, especially the dance moves. We'd be walking by and they like waving our hands, and it was like, wow. And you still get that if the song comes on. It's certain parts of the song that people are always going to vibe with, and it's great. It's great to see it still to this day.
You look back, I still feel, Tab, the 90s was just like last year, but reality says that it's not. When you look back and you look at like some of the dance steps and the dance moves and things like that, I mean, do you feel like not just like, what, can I still do that? But I mean, those were just like still moves that still people use today.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's great that they'll take the moves that we did from that time and incorporate them into the to what's going on now. It's like, oh, you still doing the Roger Rabbit. You may want to call it something different, but you still doing it. But yeah, I still, as soon as the song comes on, I still move. A lot of the stuff that I did on tour, unless it was something that we had it choreographed and we knew this step had to be there, everything else I don't remember half of the stuff that I do because I'm just in a zone. And dancers are gonna know you in a zone and you don't remember. I get off stage and be like, man, you hit this move. What move? I remember. Well, you was doing this, and I was like, okay. It's almost like you're in this. I'm in this world. When Terrible T is on stage, that's Terrible T, and
Right.
he feeds off of the crowd. And I hear the crowd. If I hear you screaming, and okay, let me make you scream a little bit louder. Maybe I could do this, but I just don't. I don't remember it. But it's the music, the beat drives me a lot.
But as a dancer, Tab, do you guys have you guys go through your rehearsal, you go through your steps, you do your thing. But when
Mhm.
you get on stage, is it a lot of what was rehearsed or choreographed, or is it a little
Oh
bit of
yeah,
both in terms of that plus freestyling the rest of the way?
it's both. You get in rehearsal and you do your main steps, and we know, okay, this is our main step, but in between you may know there's a space that I can freestyle and do something real quick and hop back into my routine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically what you're doing is you have the foundation of, okay, we're gonna do this to this whole song, but you have your moments where you can step out and shine a little bit. And you know, us having a background in dancing, that was our main key, that we still want to dance. Yes, now I'm up front because you know you have the freedom when you're a dancer, and behind the artist, you have your freedom. You can do whatever you want. You can trip. You can do whatever you want,
Yeah,
and nobody knows. But
yeah.
when you're up front, and sometimes I would miss being back there because I know I have that energy in me where I just need to freestyle sometimes. So when we get those breaks, or we say, you know what, there's a big chunk of space here, go crazy. Then everybody can show their own and be, you know, show your individuality as far as being a dancer and what you bring to the table.
The life of a dancer, did you know, not just connecting with Hammer back then, but did you know that, okay, this is what I really want to do, like this is my life move and nothing else mattered?
What's funny is I didn't set out to go be a dancer. I My brother used to dance, and that was my inspiration. I always wanted to. I used to see my brother dance, and I was like, "Oh, I want to dance better than him." But mine came from mom's going to her friend's house. Look at my baby dance. You know how your mother used to bring you out till you go dance.
Yep.
So I used to love to dance and have that moment and shine. And I used to skate, which I still do. I roller skate. So that was my passion. So I dance on skates. And when the opportunity came with Hammer, that was my first opportunity. And I appreciate him seeing something in me that pulled into what he was creating. I didn't have, I didn't really audition. He seen me doing something and asked me, you know, when I stopped by the studio, thanks to Lloyd Johnson, he asked me to show the other girls the step I was doing, and that's history. But I didn't go on all these, you know, audition that you know they're doing now. It wasn't as big the connection for dancers during my time. You kind of had to know somebody,
Yeah.
but now you know how they do it now is amazing and it's wonderful, and I applaud them because there's so many dancers that are out there that don't get the recognition that they deserve and their flowers. You know, when I was during my time, there was a young lady, Big Les, which they used to think we were sisters because we do look alike. So every time we see each other now, we that's my sister. So that's the dancers I looked up to, like Big Les and
From
Flex.
Sobeat, from Sobeat.
Big Les, no, she was, well, right now she does a lot of things. She's not on Soul Beat. She did some stuff, I believe, with BT, and then she was a dancer behind I think it was God. She did so many. And she's still out there doing her thing. And I love her to death. She's also she was the image on the the sitcom with Queen Latifah and them.
Ah, okay,
And
I got
yeah, so that's Big Les, and we used to see each other. And she was, I think it was Guy at the time when we were touring. I think it was Guy she was with, and people thought we were sisters because they were like, "You strong and she's strong, and you guys kind of look alike." So we just adapted each other. That yes, we're sisters from another mother, but we're definitely sisters, and I love her to death. And you know, dancers like that, and then Flex, he was with Salt and Pepper back then. I looked up to them because it was just you're doing something that you love, and you know you have this opportunity to show the world, and it was amazing. It's simply amazing.
Terrible T's my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio, and to me, I find it interesting just when you dial it back. I mean, not just the fact that you didn't have to audition, but I feel like sometimes when you connect with people, it could be for a moment or it could be for a long period of time. But not just your connection to Hammer, but just even with the group and the formation of Oaktown's 357. So the first album comes out. Um, did you have any like aspirations on it being like, a great record, or you were more in the mindset of like, let's just see where this goes and we kind of figure out what we figure out?
Um, in the beginning, when the opportunity presented itself, it was just kind of, it was exciting. And oh my God, I mean, I can make a record. When Hammer put 357 together, he already had an idea. There was also actually some other young ladies at the time that he was thinking of doing it with, but then he was like, you know what, you guys kind of got the look that I want. You guys already work together, so you already have that unity. So let's do it. So when we went in the studio with James Early and Felton Pilot, and at Felton Studio in Vallejo, and we were laying down the vocals, it was just still amazing. And you're still in this awe moment, like, is this really happening? You sign those contracts with Capitol Records and you're just like, okay. But every song we loved, every song I love every track.
And
Just Juicy Got You Crazy with
I,
definitely our girl BNGB.
and that's gonna be a forever track. Like I know a lot of
Oh
people out
yeah.
there, just the vibe is just vibe, and the energy as far as that goes is gonna be always something that I feel like people in the industry of music, dance, hip hop, pop, whatever you want to call it, is still gonna be relevant in my opinion. So album
Yeah,
comes
'cause
out.
the original track is on, the first album. Of
Mhm.
course, everybody knows, yeah, 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 because that was the first single out. And then when we were on tour, it came about. Hammer was like, "Okay, I think that's gonna be the next single," but he was like, "It needs to be remixed," because if you listen to the first one, it had more of a rock feel to it
Mhm.
on the original album. But then when BNGB stepped in there and we did that remake, I fell in love with that song, and that's definitely one of my favorites, because to hear Angie hit them notes, and she could still hit them today, is absolutely heaven.
Sometimes when you got it, you got it. When it's all said and done, in terms of like just being able to have it, and it just to me, I always feel like energy in music is important. Like
Yeah,
you need to have some kind of
you gotta love what you do too.
yeah.
You have to.
Um, that album to me just brings a lot of memories in terms of just what I was going through or what I was doing or where I was living or whatever when it comes to that. Like, and I know like once album dropped and y'all was doing tour stuff or whatnot throughout, like what are some of the like I guess in a lot of ways like challenging times that you face trying to record that record. So I know at the end of the day you said that you loved all the records or whatnot, but was there ever any like single selections that you were kind of like not feeling, or different things in terms of just the process of the album, like you take it too slow, going too
Um,
fast, whatever it was?
no, not in a sense, because at that time we were still, everything was still new, so we were kind of under the directions of Hammer, and Louis Burrell would guide us through, and we were still working. So most of the remix, like I said, that one we actually had to do on tour. And Hammer had the studio on the bus, so we did that on the bus. I want to say it was in Ohio. And the bus, we had that downtime for like 2 days in between tours, and we went in there, did the remix, and it got out. Straight at You was another song that we were on tour the night before. We were at the Joe Louis Arena the night before doing the Hammer show. Then the next day, in between, we had to shoot the video. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of work on tour. So it was almost like you didn't have time to process. You didn't have time to sit back and think, okay, I need to rest. It was go, go, go. So
Hmm.
when they was like, hey, we need this done, we need this done, you balance it out and you trust the ones that are around you.
Right. Um, what were some of the fun parts about touring though? Like just going to different countries,
Oh, the
places.
different cities and seeing the energy from the fans. When we did have that downtime, being on tour with some of the groups, we used to try to laugh and have some fun. There was one instance with Jodeci. We were in Colorado and it was snowing. So even though we had the downtime, it was not really too many places to go. We had a huge water fight inside the hotel. Almost got us kicked out
Oh shit. Oh wow. Okay.
because we were just running around with these water guns. We all went down to the mall and bought up at this toy store all these water guns. And here we are. As soon as you got off the elevator, we was like, and we were shooting each other, and we were having so much fun because again, we were younger.
Yeah.
We were all, in that teen kind of stage, early 20, and you're missing all that stuff that you would have normally done with your friends if you weren't on the road and you were at. So we still try to make it normal. We still try to have that fun, but we almost got kicked out.
Hey, sometimes those memories be the best ones where you almost
We
did
almost,
right.
yeah. I think we shot a manager in the face with the water gun. He was like,
Yeah. Wow.
but the guests were really great about it. They were laughing, and it was like they could see that we wasn't trying to hurt anybody. We just wanted to have some fun. And like I said, we being from the West Coast, all this snow, we wasn't used to that, so we didn't go out too much.
Yeah.
And it was just, you had to keep those moments and keep that laughter in your heart because we were working
Hmm.
7 days a week. If you wasn't on stage, we were traveling to the next stage and in between that. So, and being, away from the family so long, but it was, to me, it was all a blessing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Uh, I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I stuck it out and I have this beautiful memories, that a lot of people don't have, a lot of traveling that, you don't normally get. I did that at a younger age and I appreciate it.
Was some of the traveling that you did, where was it like your first time going to a different country or going to a specific spot, or like you mentioned, seeing snow for the very first time? Was that a lot of it on your tour shot with Hammer and during your albums or
Oh
whatnot?
yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely being able to go to, St. Louis and Detroit and, being able to travel like that, Japan. Yeah, that was definitely, with Hammer and being able to see those opportunities because like you said, working 9 to 5, you don't get that opportunity to get out as much as you want. You have to plan this trip, and here we are on tour. We're leaving Chicago, going to Ohio, going to Minneapolis, all in just a month or so. It's amazing that you're able to do that and see all these different areas. And like I said, the fans are amazing in every city that I've gone to. So it was a joy.
Um, so your first album is released and it was Energy.
Hmm.
Second album that comes out, and I mentioned this probably like years back with LD, was this one seemed to have been fully loaded, just a little bit more on the growth side when it comes to
Yeah.
Oaktown 357. So there was one less person, involved in this, but at the same time, this to me was like more of a well-rounded type of project or whatnot. So what was the first album done? Now it's the second album. What was the conversation prior to the first album and now this album, where it's like, you know what, things have got to shift a little bit more in how we are now growing into this business?
The first album, we were all, like I said, young, and we collabed with Hammer, and most of that was him driving, some of the tracks and all of that. And when Little P decided to leave, um, it was just me and LD, and we were like, we got to do this. When it came to the first video, they added two other girls, and me and LD was like, I'm telling you, we can do this. Um, and we pushed on, and then they was like, you know what, I think they can do it, and were more mature. And Capitol Records was like, I think these girls could. They don't need a third person. They don't need a fourth person. And when we started writing this album, we had more of the creativity of it. We, had more input on the tracks and how we were feeling at that time, and working with the different producers. It was more, that was us arriving. And I think it was definitely a wonderful fit, a wonderful album. All those tracks, definitely Wild and Loose. That's one of my top favorites, because again, we're showing our creativity as an artist, as a dancer, as, women arriving. Because I feel like that album, we arrived, and there was no holding back.
I as a fan, I must say that not only do I agree with you, even from a fan's perspective, and I had no thoughts of being, what I am today, but I was growing up just like y'all, so I was, so immersed in the music part of it, but
Yeah.
knowing where you came from and knowing where it's at right now, to see that evolution to me felt like, oh, these women are beyond grown up now. Like, concept of the, but the dance moves was still legit, right? It was still
Mhm.
and everything else, but you just saw a steady progression in this particular project, which I feel like is a more well-rounded
Yeah.
album fully versus, the first one. But I must say this, both albums are nostalgia driven, because if you get fans from like everywhere else that's going to turn on like certain tracks of each,
Yeah.
you're going to vibe to it, because there's no way in hell you're not going to, right? So
Yeah.
I want you to watch something with me, and just, I don't think I'm going to be able to run the entire thing, but I want you to just watch something with me, and just, after you're done watching it, just kind of give me your thoughts on certain things. You don't even know what I'm about to show you, but I'm about to. So I just want your take on a couple subs. So we gonna watch this right now, from a classic moment back in 1991 with Oaktown's 357.
Oh, that was overseas.
I'm a fan first off, so watching it gives me chills. But I just want to know your thoughts on just that energy, because I was like at a BT function or whatnot. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts as you're looking through that?
Um, Amazed, because there's, you don't get to see I don't. It's hard to. You got me with lost for words here. Um, when I see the footage of us performing, it's still I'm in awe because here it is. We put everything that we had, everything we loved into each and every performance. And when you get to see it, I was critiquing myself. I was like, I could have did that part a little better. When I'm like, oh, I did that. Yeah.
See what I was looking at throughout, and it's like you went on the little stage part on the top, and you was doing your thing or whatever. And come on, Tab, like, I mean,
I tell you, I don't remember half of the things I do. Um, this is an interesting story. I guess I used to go next to the speaker, and I think it was either King Ho or Loho. They was like, oh, so you just gonna rape the speaker tonight, huh? I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, you was over there just tearing that speaker up. I was like, I don't remember. And it's like I do these things because of the adrenaline, and like I said, I'm crowd driven. And when I hear Terrible T, I'm like, okay, I got to do something better, or I got to do something to hear a different awe. Like, okay, she did that one. Oh, that was dope. And then I got to do something else. I want to top every time I do something. I want to make it that much better to give you that much more experience with me. There was this time we were in Dallas. I want to say Dallas, and we were performing at a high school. And I thought it would be clever to slide across the floor. I slid and ended up getting 50 splinters.
oh shit!
Still kept performing.
Oh.
My leg was just bleeding. We had to go across the street to the urgent care so they can pull out the splinters. They were like, some were this long, bleeding, everything, but I didn't feel it until after the fact. And I believe Jonathan Mosley, I think, took us. It was either Jonathan Mosley took us to that particular performance, and he was like, "You're bleeding," and it's like,
oh.
So we had to go to the urgent care across the street so they can pull out the splinters. I didn't really feel the effects until we the pressure when you have stuff pulled. Oh my God, that's when I was like, why you do that? Why you slide on the floor? I think LD was like, why you slide on? Because I just do stuff. I just do it, and I'll still slide on the floor.
Oh, that's wild. Oh my God. Adrenaline rush like a motherfucker, like for real. Oh wow. Tab's my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. Tab, you still hear me, right? You good? Uh-oh. I think Tab we'll make sure we get her mic back on. All right.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, good deal. So Tab, how do you feel about the industry today?
It's interesting. I think it's a little less work than what we had to do back then, because there's so much media now. You have so much access. We didn't have, the internet, and we didn't have IG, and we didn't have, all of these outlets that everybody's in YouTube to be seen. So I don't think they work as hard as we did, because we really had to work. You really had to go to these places. You really had to go, do these shows, where now you can, become a phenom overnight on YouTube or Instagram. And as far as, I still see the dancers doing their thing, working hard, being seen. Just like Chris Brown's dancer, that young lady, she's amazing. But it's like the music it's still for me, it's the beat. I'm that 808 back in the day. It was that beat that hits your heart. Some of the music today doesn't. I can dance to it, but it doesn't make me feel, feel like, okay, I want to get up and dance for like 30 minutes. A Hammer song, you wanted to get up and dance. People wanted to sweat at the clubs. You don't see people sweating at the clubs dancing like that anymore. Everybody's more, want to be seen. Where back in our day, if you didn't sweat in the club, then something was wrong. So you didn't get no dances tonight. See,
Right.
it was a different era. Like now, it's like, okay, I'm cute. I'm too cute to dance. I'll pop my finger. No, back then you danced.
I'm too cute to sweat. Like
Right.
I got too much work done on my body. If I sweat, it's gonna be
Right, my makeup, we did not care. We did not care. It is funny because you gotta go in the if you didn't go in the club and sweat, then what was you there for? It's just a social thing. But the music, I love, everybody's creativity. So except some of the things, everybody kind of looks the same or doing the same as far as wardrobe. But love the creativity. I like, Lolo Brooks. I love her. Megan Thee Stallion. Everybody has their style and their niche, but it's like in Gorilla, everybody. But their presentation is kind of the same. So you want to be more original because you have those bars. I mean, you have the look, you have that energy, and they definitely have energy, which is great. It's definitely great. You need that. And I think it's just bring back some of that. Let's get out there and sweat. Let's not care if the hair gets puffy.
And enjoy what you do. Like the joy part of music to me is missing. Like we're starting to see some creativity because remember, Tab, at one point there was a lot of people copying other people. It just sounded the same, right? It sounded.
Yeah.
Now we have people these days where you're starting to see that flow back. Oh, creative. But
Yeah.
the joy though, like I get it. It's a business now. It's way bigger than probably
Yeah.
how it was in the 80s and 90s or whatever, but it's still at the end of the day, still emotion attached to the music and dance like ever before. And I would love to see more of that or whatnot. To me, that's just how I felt for a long time because I just don't understand how you just can't I mean we just saw it turn it up. I mean, how could that not give you energy or whatever? Like, yeah, that was another one. How can you not get energy after that? Like to me it's just different.
Yeah. But see, like with Chris Brown, I could probably watch him all day because he has that element. He has the energy. You could see that he enjoys what he do. The dancing, he's phenomenal. So and Usher, that's those are the ones that I look at. But definitely Chris Brown is my all time fave. He's a phenomenal dancer.
I look at it like this, and we're gonna get into the business side of it all too, because we have all those moments and we have the joy, we love it. Like I was talking to Shirley Jones of the Jones Girls, and we were having a conversation about just some of the other stuff in business when it comes to the music game and stuff, and I'm sure you probably noticed as well. Like Salt and Pepper had to go to court, fight for stuff that they feel like they own. The court says no, we can't, you don't own your stuff. And hearing another story, Bobby Brown finally got his masters back from Prerogative and some of the other older songs that we have. What are your thoughts about the weird business that we're all in terms of like legacy, right? Because Tabatha, I feel like this, like if you did the work and it's literally there, get a piece of it. I get the
Yeah.
business part of it, but you should have a piece of something that you had to sweat through time, whatever the case may be. you deserve that piece. So why is it that you can't have it? Like Salt and Pepper can't have their masters. What the fuck?
Right. And it's definitely sad because back then we a lot of the artists weren't on that business savvy side.
Right.
We were artists, we enjoyed what we were doing, and we thought the people around us that knew the business and knew this part would protect us and would be a voice for us. And unfortunately, you have to watch those people. But back then, you thought that person has my back. So I shouldn't worry. Let me just go out here and be an artist. Let me just go out here and perform. And then at the end of the day, you'd be like, wait a minute, I can't buy no soda because where's all the money? Oh, it had to go to this. And so, nowadays, I'm sure the artists are more business savvy, definitely hearing, because even back with James Brown and them situations, again, it's the same cycle.
Right.
They didn't have their rights, and then you'd be like, oh my God, I would never do XYZ like that when I get into that position, and then they get in that position and dog the son, they do the same thing to somebody else. And it's sad because there's a lot for everybody out there. So why not? Okay, you have the talent, I have this idea, let's put it together, let's make something together.
Right.
But one side feels like, well, just because you were talented, I had to go do all this work. I deserve much more. It's unfortunate. So definitely for the ones coming up now, it's again, you just have to be more business savvy. Unfortunately, and take a little bit away from your artistry just in order to make sure everybody's on the same page on your business, so that you can create your legacy and it be set there 10, 15 years after, and you be able to transfer that to your kids and transfer over here, live comfortably because you created. You may not, and see, the other thing is, you may not have wrote that song, somebody else did. Okay, so they got their cut, but you performed it and put that life into it.
Right.
They could write the words, but if it's not executed properly, the words are going to sit there. But if somebody actually executes and makes it bigger than life, why not give to that person as well? Don't just go back to me, me, me. It was us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just unfortunate that Salt and Pepper have to deal with that. Other artists, Bobby, like you said, Bobby Brown, and it's so many. Like even us, it's just you trust, and that's the bad thing with what's going on now. Even in the world, you can't trust everything. You have to be more savvy and business about it.
I think that's the key thing, especially nowadays. Like, we learn from other generations. Generations should be able to learn from us as far as what to do and what not to do. Because I think the what not to do's is stuff that we've learned from. You mentioned James Brown's and some of the other people from back in the day who don't own their estate, doesn't own their
Mhm.
music, which is, you hear stuff like this, terrible tea, and to me it just trips my mind out that we're here at this
Yeah.
point in time, and
And
this
it's still, yeah.
and and it's crazy. So um when it comes to just navigating through like media stuff, social media, everything else, it's a blessing and a curse in my opinion.
Yeah.
But as a new person working with me with Nexxlegacy and things like that, as far as kind of generating brands, what's the one thing that's important to you when you see a lot of people use and abuse social media, but also they cry when their brand isn't progressing? What are your thoughts on it in general when it comes to just how things are now with the addition of social media?
It's just, as far as the brand part of it is, you just have to navigate it, more professional. You have to make sure everything is taken care of. That, you know, if you're trying to build a brand, make sure you have the proper steps. You can't just go from, I'm here, I'm on step A and I want to jump all the way to M and not do the work in between. You still have to be, conscious of everything that you put out. I don't want to have, right now, there's a lot of impressionable young kids and teens and everything. And they look at these and like, ooh, I want it. Everything is not real.
Right.
You have to put out the real content so that people follow those steps. All this, what they say, fake news and all that. People are putting out this impression that, oh, my life is great over here. And it really isn't. As soon as they shut that camera off, something is different. So you want to put that real content out there so people get real information and make sure, okay, well, if I want to get to this plateau in my life, they're giving me these steps and I'm following these steps and it's actually happening. So that's, as far as branding, that's what I want to do as far as making sure things are, you know, check the I's are dotted and T's are crossed so that you can get to your next stage. Because that's what it is. People don't like to help others. They want to show you what I got, but they're not going to give you the steps because they don't want you to go bigger than them. And that's the crab in the barrel. I'm going to pull you down because I don't want you to get bigger than me.
Yeah.
When it's a blessing that I taught you and now, you climbed up higher than me, but I helped you and I'm proud of you. That's what the thing is now. Nobody's proud of each other's accomplishment. They want to say, oh, well, I helped her and she didn't do this for me. It's not about that. It's not. Let's all win.
People help people at the end of the day. Like, you hear the stories about, even, I'm not trying to go super deep, but there are some people back in the day. Like, I would never forget a recent Reggie Jackson interview where he talked about like racism in Alabama and the fact that if it wasn't for some of his white players that was on his team to help him navigate through like trying to eat somewhere and just being inclusive to be able to show support. If that hotel didn't want a black person, then we're not going to do it. When I say people, he even said it. If it wasn't for people like them, he wouldn't have been the kind of person that he became. Right. So that's the kind of steps that I feel like people miss when you look at the history of paying it forward. Like a lot of people don't do that. Even branding, like I love social media, but also I hate it at the same time. I will use it, but I would not abuse it because it's a tool only. But people have to understand the gravity of what they say and what they do. You can't be what we call back in the 90s studio gangsters, but then take it to the net and pretend like what it is, right? You have to flip that switch. And I think, as much as we need it, we also have to get out of that matrix on occasion as well to deprogram, because sometimes it can be a problem.
Yeah.
So outside of doing stuff with Nexxlegacy, what would you say would be on the horizon for Terrible T of Oaktown's 357?
Well, definitely, starting a new chapter, with Nexxlegacy, but building my brand, building, knowledge, the dancing. I still want to perform. Some collaborations with definitely some wonderful artists out there. I still want to perform, and that's my next steps is to definitely get out there and have a good time. Life is too short, so you got to take advantage of it every day.
You have some people that you would like to acknowledge as far as collaboration hopes, or you just that's for later
on? Well, I've done some collaborating with my girl Sugar T, so that's always definitely one for the books. I really haven't sat down. I would welcome a lot because everybody right now is doing some wonderful things. I would love to do something with Jamie Foxx. I love Jamie Foxx. I've always loved his voice. So definitely Gorilla. I think it would be a good one with old school, new school, Megan Thee Stallion,
Mhm.
so Lotto, all of these new artists. So definitely, bringing the old school to the new school and doing that mix, I think would be fabulous.
And finally, if anything, you know how y'all exploded in pieces of the 80s and 90s as far as giving all of us a ton of memorable moments. I'm gonna ask you what is your favorite music decade ever, according to Terrible T, aka Tabatha. Favorite.
Ah, it would have to be the 90s, 80s, 90s, because that was the heart and soul of music. You had, the Michael Jackson, you had, Bobby Brown, you had New Edition, the music that had the heart in it, So Prince, I mean, you can go on that you can put those albums on. And that's what I'm so excited about 357, that yeah, it was 80s, 90s, but if you still put it on, that beat still goes. So I understand, them back in the day, my mom, I'm putting on my Stevie Wonder, and you'd be like, oh, why she putting on that old music? But I see her point, because if it was good then, and you could put on Stevie right now and it's still good, and it's the melody, the beat, um, and it makes you feel good.
Here you
You know,
go.
so I love it. I've always been a music kid. My mother used to sing, so I just love it. I love entertaining. I love making people happy. And if I can do that with performance, um, then I'm gonna do it. If I got to be out there, rolling in the wheelchair, I'm gonna do it. I bet y'all learn how to spin the wheels. No, I just
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. So Terrible T, I'll give you the 80s and 90s, even though you can't pick one or you can't pick two. You got to pick
I
one decade. But
then okay, 90s. I'll go with the 90s.
all right, that I got you. So, with that being said, would you pull any fashion from the 90s into 2025? Like, what would you take from the 90s in terms of fashion that you would bring to your day and age that you would give to the young people? Either the Carl Kanives or the cross colored jeans to the hair to certain hairstyles, whatever.
Well, what's funny is I would do hairstyle, because I'm always the hair. I love changing my hair. I've always, back in the day, everybody said, "Oh, I love your asymmetric," and I think in my other life, I really think I was a hairdresser, because I just love changing styles and colors. And I have a fabulous hairdresser here, Fatima, uh, and barber out here, Chi Town. So it's like, oh my God, they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. I have an idea. Let's do it. I'm that type of, client. But I would say the asymmetric is coming back. Some of them styles are coming back. The shortcuts. I would say the short bob, the short and
Okay.
sassy, you know, eyes to the side, that was my signature.
You know what? Hey, the short haircuts or the shortcuts. Hey, you know what? A lot of women wore it well back in the day.
Yeah.
So a
And they're
lot.
starting to wear it now. See, I I love it, like Megan Thee Stallion, she has, her hair is long and gorilla. Me, the way I dance, that would all have been in my mouth. I'm,
No doubt.
so
No doubt.
I have to go with something that's probably short, sassy, and fling to the side, because I probably could do it. I'd be like, oh, that's sweating. I probably wouldn't pull the wig off. But it's beautiful on them, and Cardi B, and and Nicki Minaj. It's beautiful. I just probably could. I probably wouldn't. Their long hair. I probably done stepped on it. So
you,
it's
you know what? You know what? If you over to slide and getting like 50 splinters or something like that. We don't want to have any air malfunctions or anything like that either. Like that
Right.
would
I'd be like,
like
hold on. Let me get the hair out the face.
injuries. Hey, we don't move like we used to back in the day too. So that would be terrible if no pun intended, terrible to you.
Right.
That was terrible if that happened. That would work. That would work.
But
So
see, the way, like I said, the way I dance, I couldn't do all the hair. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful though. It's pretty.
I think that you take I just feel like a lot of this stuff. My daughter is she's 22, but she loves everything 80s. She even loves the fashion. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy how you can take certain moments of a decade and just I don't care what age you are. Like you can have a connection with it that is amazing to a degree because you may not have lived in it, but you appreciated it, right? So I lived in it, so I was
Yeah.
able to see you all become something creative, and it will withstand the test of time because of the work y'all put into what y'all do. So if the people outside, and I'm gonna finish with this, and I'm gonna ask you a question about it because I look at the legacy of Oaktown's 357 as one where it's not just the music and the nostalgia and the dance moves or whatever. It's just like you mentioned earlier about the feeling, like how I
Mhm.
feel when I heard "Turn It Up" when y'all was doing the BET thing or whatever. A lot of people forget like the impact on if I get chills listening to a song, that means I beyond love it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So y'all gave that kind of energy. So I will ask you this about your legacy and the impact. Like, what does it mean to you when you gather the people that was around you? We mentioned Hammer, we mentioned P, we mentioned LD. Shout out to them. But when you put your career and your legacy into perspective, and I know we talked about this earlier, like what kind of feeling that you get when you say, you know what, I still got work to do, but damn, job well done.
Um, I'm still humble to an extent because I'm still amazed that I had that opportunity to do this. And when I see it, I'm like, I I did that, but I probably could have did it better, but I did that. And when I see, I I don't feel it until somebody else acknowledges it that I move them in some type of way. Um, in my DM or a fan. Just like recently, like I was telling you, the young lady with the terrible two tattooed on her. I'm just in awe. And my sister asked me the same. She goes, "How do you feel?" And I was like, I don't know because I didn't know I touched somebody that deeply. There was another fan in I want to say it was Oklahoma, and she had the two T's in the back of her head because on Arsenio Hall, I had the two T's shaded in the back of my head, the TTs, and we were performing. And she turned around and had the security guard point at her head. And when I seen it, it made me melt that I touched somebody that deep that they wanted to acknowledge me to that extent. And I'm still feeling the love, and I'm so appreciative for all those that DM me or send me a birthday wish, or if something's going on and sends their, unfortunate condolences. It's so much love that I didn't know I had that I am now seeing, and I appreciate it and I love it all. And I accept it. Thank you.
That's a testament to the legacy though. Like, and as I close the door on this chapter of this interview, but looking forward to you with other journalistic and marketing things with Nexxlegacy, I can't thank you enough for the memories. Like I said, it's memorable to run back these albums and these songs and the videos. Like I used to have this shit playing on the box like all the goddamn time in the '90s. Like my mama was always a fan. Like it runs deeper than that. My daughter, who's an '80s and '90s head, loves that kind of music. Is a fan. So to be able to be in this opportunity where I can find a way or a platform that I can be able to pay it forward to you, like our connection was through chance, but
Yeah.
so grateful that we have and we're about to create something that's way different than anything that I could ever imagine. And we grew up together. We just didn't know each other until the last couple of years or whatever. But
Right.
it runs that deep. And I just know in my heart, like a lot of people out there is just like feeling like, you know what, get these people these flowers. We are not promised here whenever, you know. So make it worth it at the end of the day. And Terrible T, I can't thank you enough, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Oh, I thank you. I thank you so much.
Give
It's a
give
pleasure.
give your social media shout outs and all that good stuff.
On IG, it's the real Terrible T 357. Facebook, I'm not really on Facebook that much, but I definitely will answer, which is the Tabitha Brooks or Terrible T. I'm mostly on IG now. Hit me up. I try my best to say hello or answer back to everybody that reaches out to me. So, and I appreciate it and I love it, and I love hearing that you guys still love us and supported us through all these years, and it's a blessing. Maria Busta Move, that she is phenomenal. I love her. Um, Dave Tolliver, Al Nolan, Day One Management. I love everybody that supports us and believes in us. And Charles, I can't say enough about you and Nexxlegacy, that it's an honor and a privilege to work with you, because you support us from the beginning and still love us, and you're still putting up with me.
Listen, we're joined together like Siamese twins, so it's gonna, it's not even gonna take anything. Can't tear us apart ever. Um, I can't thank you enough for this, and I need y'all to go follow and support, and just the legacy of Oaktown's 357. Hashtag the hell out of it, whatever y'all young people do and other people do in general, and just bring that same energy period to the people that's still here to be able to receive it and
Yeah.
appreciate it, and stop waiting till people are gone to do
Yeah.
it, because it means absolutely nothing to do it in the air when you can literally do it face to face or stuff like this too. You know what I mean? So
And like I said, BNGB, that's my girl. She has a new single out. Go follow her. And we love you guys. We grew up with every last one of you guys, and let's hang some more. Let's hang
let's
out
do
some
it.
more.
Let's do
Let's do
it.
let's
Let's
do
do
some
it.
more.
On behalf of Terrible T, who is the new addition to Nexxlegacy, I am Branded. Until the next time, but you'll probably see Tab and myself doing other things. So just get ready for the future, people.
We're ready.
I'm just saying, just get ready. Tab, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.